Asian. What should we say about the cultural diversity? No, I can't say that. What can we say about the cultural diversity? Test one. This is test one. Okay, cultural diversity is increasing in that you have a professor and the professor tells you be on time, this is college, or you're out. 3 late classes constitute 1 out. So in the United States, we function on a monochronic time schedule. And because we function on a monochronic time schedule, we expect everybody to be on time. We say 1 o'clock, we're gonna eat. At 1 o'clock, you should be there. You have a 1 o'clock appointment, 1:10, you're out. Your appointment is canceled. You're on what they think of us as teachers. I mean, how do we like when I'm doing a lecture and somebody, major difference is that Asian populations are collective populations. And so students will be the last to raise their hands and volunteer to answer a question. Please, of course, communication, English, a poet, right? And I'm sorry, your name?
I did with the high school, then in high school.
Okay. Oh, yes, the counselor?
No, I'm a BLL program specialist.
Oh, wonderful. And Kristen, of course, that she is such a great help, and we're gonna do a conversation group for the ESL students. Barbara,
teach English here.
oh, you teach English, and Ron is
Business and accounting.
accounting. And of course,
I'm
famous.
Evelyn, and I teach English comp, and I help in the Writing Center on the City Center campus.
Joselita, I teach ESL.
Yes, I remember you very well. And Fotini,
And I teach ESL.
yes, which is wonderful. I just found out she's Greek, and of course my background is Greek, so like I'm thrilled. She is just so knowledgeable about everything and worked all over in so many countries. So she actually exemplifies cultural diversity. We're going to use her as a model now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Maria, and I work as a counselor in the DSPS office.
Thank you. So our subject today is cultural diversity in the ESL population, but I'd like to be more specific. And so Westerman, and we have to discuss the United States in relevance to other cultures so we can understand their way of thinking in comparison to ours. And Westerman only uses a small fraction of his mental capabilities. We value one system of learning in the West, and that we have to blame the ancient Greeks for that, because it's really the Socratic way of thinking. It's logic. It's a linear way of thinking. And so because it's a linear way of thinking, logic is synonymous to Western man as the truth. And this is the only road to reality. I don't know if you've ever heard of the psychoanalyst Lang. Anybody? Yes, you have. Good. Anyway, he thought that the Western world is mad, that we're all insane. So, but it's his perception. I think it was his perception after dealing with some of our institutions, because what happens, we have bureaucracies, right, that they build up. And maybe it's not man that's crazy, but it's the bureaucracies, it's the institutions that are insane. Although if you meet some of my relatives, you might not think so, but yeah, you might think man is crazy. But who would disagree anyway with that? I have to read you this little story that I got, and I think you would really enjoy it, because it discusses this bureaucracies and these institutions and why Lang thought that we were all insane in the Western world. This was reported in New York Times. It was concerning a police dog sighted on Ruffle Bar, and that's like a little island off New York. It's uninhabited. Anyway, it was a police dog, and he was named the King of Ruffle Bar. The dog had sustained itself for 2 years, and it survived well. It was very happy in this semi-wild state, and probably would survive for the rest of its natural life, having just unattended and just eating. But some well-meaning soul heard about the dog and reported him to the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, thereby setting the bureaucratic wheels in motion. Since the king, as they called them, could not be approached by people, a baited trap was set. According to the Times, every day a police launch from Shiphead Bay took off for Ruffle Bar, that uninhabited swampy island of the dog. Every day a police helicopter hovered for half an hour over Ruffle Bar. A radio report of the broadcast at the time described how the helicopter harassed the dog in futile efforts to catch it, or sometimes to get a better view of him. Police were quoted as saying, the dog looked in good shape. There was reports every day on this dog. Just think about all the taxpayers' money being spent. When questioned, representatives of the ASPCA said, when we catch the dog, we'll have it examined by a vet, and we will find a good home for it. Okay, if the story had been a myth, or nice necessity to control everything, and that's the widely accepted notion that the bureaucrat knows best. So thousands of dollars for helicopters, gasoline, time, reports were spent for a number of delusions. One of them is that we're all sane, right? Well, we persist in this view, despite massive evidence to the contrary. For instance, in the Westward Territorial, we have spatial messages. And I'm saying this because in other cultures, a lot of Latin American cultures, especially East Asian cultures, this spatial reality doesn't exist. We view ourselves by ranking here. What would be one of the biggest insults for you as professors? As full-time professors would be if they took you from your office and they moved you to a smaller office. Can you imagine if we took one of the deans and moved him to my office and just moved him to another room? So he takes the key, he goes to his room, he opens the door, and it's like exactly the way he left it. Little kimonos, okaras, I think they're called, and they are the same color, and the tour guide holds this little flag, and they have to follow him in a linear fashion. And when you see another person from your tour group, you wave because you belong in the same group. And they visit this little seaside village, right? So this little seaside village, they check into a hotel, and after a few days, then they're visiting shrines and temples. They go back to the hotel and they go, we moved you to another hotel. So it's bad enough to move you from room to room in one hotel, but can you imagine moving you from one hotel to another? I mean, who's getting reservations at the Hyatt? And then you go there and you go, we moved you down to the Sheraton down the street. What do you mean? I have reservations at the Hyatt. You're calling your lawyer the next moment. They ruined my vacation. Why did they move me at the Sheraton down the street? That's not as nice. Because when you move someone, because we're so territorial, it's the worst thing you can do to them. Move them in a smaller office, take away their rank, move them to another room without an explanation, move them to another hotel. You are not considering that person's feelings, right? And this man could not figure it out. He had this mantra going through his head. I wrote it down. What was his mantra? He said, this mantra, he was trying to be open-minded because he was an ESL professor, and he's saying, I am treated shabbily. I am seen as nothing. He's trying to compose himself, and he's very upset. It took him a while in this culture to realize that the Japanese are very collective. In fact, when you get a job in Japan, it's not like us. It's like, if another university offers you more money, sure, goodbye, Mount San Jose, see you later, we're gone, But a Japanese, like when a company hires them, this is for life. Listen to this, they have company songs. Can you imagine making a song for Mount San Jacinto? And they get together weekly, and they, to support the company spirit. They're a team. This is for life. They are family. I mean, this is like a little too strange for us. So what happened after 10 days at this hotel, they seen him as a part of the group. This was a compliment. They treated him as family. They included him. They could move him around. This was not done to someone they seen as a tourist. It was done to somebody they actually respected. Isn't that strange? That is so cute, I thought. So anyway, he was no longer an outsider. He belonged. It was a big compliment. Moving around was tangible evidence that Hall was being treated like a family member.